of the biggest topics discussed in entertainment since COVID really hit has been the future of the movie theater industry and the movie theater business model. We've seen a lot of movies not do well at the box office. 2020 was a wash, let's be honest. COVID, that was when COVID was at its peak. It affected everything. So I count 2020 as a wash for a lot of things, including the movie theater business. But we've seen theaters open back up. We've seen other things be released. But the box office hasn't really been that great, with the exception of Spider-Man. Scream did fairly well. I think the Batman's going to do well when it comes out. Like the big tentpole movies, like the Batman, your Marvel movies, some animated movies, like things like that, will continue to do well. But dramas haven't really been doing that great. Comedies haven't really been doing that great. And I've been wanting to talk about this for a while because Ben Affleck did an interview a few weeks ago, he and Matt Damon, with Entertainment Weekly. And Ben Affleck said, "If I had to bet, a drama like Argo would not be made theatrically now. That wasn't that long ago. It would be a limited series." He also continued by saying, "I think movies in theaters are going to become more expensive, eventized. They're mostly going to be for younger people and mostly about, hey, I'm into the Marvel Universe. I can't wait to see what happens next. And there'll be 40 movies a year theatrically, probably all IP, sequel, and animated." So I don't think he's entirely wrong, but I don't know that it's going to stay that way. And I'll get to that in just a second. But I think the movie theater experience and the movie theater business has been trending in the direction of this since before COVID. COVID just exaggerated everything. With a lot of movies before COVID even hit, I wouldn't go see them in a theater because if I have the option to wait, a few extra weeks or a few extra months and watch it on Amazon Prime or rent it, on Apple TV, then I'll do it, because a lot of it has to do with the prices of movie theaters, with tickets, with concessions. Everything's just more expensive. I can go out to dinner with my fiance and spend probably a little less money than I would going to a theater. And it's, for the average person, it's just a lot to ask for. And plus, it's much more convenient. Like in my position, I don't have kids. But if I had 2 kids and I have the option to watch a movie at home or take everybody to the theater, then I would stay at home. It's just easier that way. I think things have been trending in that direction over the last few years. When COVID hit, it really forced a lot of studios, really all studios, to release through streaming or wait it out. And we've seen some studios wait it out, and I give them all the credit in the world for that. But streaming services are not going away. Like, they are going to be here for a long, long time. However, I do think at some point the movie theater industry will get better. Because if you look at the waves that we've gone through as a society with different entertainment mediums, like I'll use records as an example. Records were the way to listen to music back in the day. Records are before my time, but I know enough to know about records to know how big they were. Records have kind of made a comeback. We have a local record store here in town that does quite well. I know several friends who have a record player, and that's how they want to listen to music. So it almost becomes a collector's item type of thing. I've been seeing it now with VHS tapes. I think the movie theater experience will get back to that, because I think at some point, this is what I think is going to happen. I think Ben Affleck is right in the sense that the big movies are going to be the ones to go to in a theater, like your Spider-Mans with Doctor Strange, all the Marvel movies and DC movies. but they will become more expensive because that's going to be what keeps movie theaters open. Because these dramas like Being the Ricardos, The Tragedy of Macbeth, I'm sure seeing them in a theater is great, but we've in a way become desensitized to those movies. I hope that as a result of that, we do see more independent theaters where you can actually go and pay a small fee to, get some popcorn, a drink, and then if you want to go watch a movie like The Lighthouse or The Tender Bar, you can do that. And then you have your bigger theaters like AMC, Regal. That's where you watch your big budget event movies. Because I love No Way Home, but it was definitely an event in addition to being a movie because of the experience that goes along with it. So I think we'll get several big screen events a year. But I think in time, the desire and want to recapture that movie theater experience will come back. Much like records, and now we're seeing VHS tapes. I'll even use, old video games. You look at the Nintendo and Super Nintendo, and now we're seeing N64 and some of the consoles from the early 2000s. Those are becoming popular with collectors and people just wanting to experience those old things. So while I think there's going to be a different trend as far as how we consume our content, in streaming becoming even more prevalent, I do think the movie theater experience will come back. And I hope it does, because that's how I prefer to view movies. To me, one of my favorite things to do, and has been since I was a kid, is to go to a movie theater and watch a movie, to watch it on a giant screen. There's no other type of movie viewing can replicate that for me. So while I think things are going to be not very ideal for movie theaters for a while, I do think they will survive this.